So fourth-year outside linebacker Odade Oweh, as well as second-year outside linebacker Tavius Robinson, are making some splash plays, looking really good in Ravens OTAs. We got the top takeaways from OTAs, plus some really fun rumblings and speculation regarding a possible reunion between Matthew Judon and the Baltimore Ravens. And we got Mark Andrews addressing the media the first time since that terrible injury against the Cincinnati Bengals. A second-year linebacker primed to take Patrick Queen's role in the defense, and much more Baltimore Ravens news. So welcome in to another episode of Ravens Reports. It's your guy Noah here with For the Flock, as always, bringing you guys our top 5 news reports and storylines coming out of our Baltimore Ravens today. The Ravens are in their second iteration of their offseason OTA workouts. Let's dive into the content because we got a lot to talk about. At number 1, Mark Andrews talks about Rashad Bateman having a really big role in the offense in 2024. He says he looks incredible. He looks as put together as he's ever been. If you guys have seen any of the clips of Rashad Bateman in his workouts, he looks good. He came in shape, looking like the best physical shape of his life. And this comes right after last week when Lamar Jackson said Bateman is an elusive receiver that gets separation. We just got to get him the ball, point blank, period. Todd Monken talked about Bateman, about how, Odell Beckham Jr. was in the offense last year and Bateman was hurt during camp. I'm expecting Bateman to have a big year, and Mark Andrews says the same thing. He says, it's going to be a big year for Rashad Bateman. I'm calling it now. And here's Mark Andrews talking about his mindset heading into the season, how hungry and motivated he is, as well as some new offensive wrinkles in this offense.
It's tough to be around for the last 6 years and play almost every snap, every game, and really haven't missed much, and then have that happen and have the type of team that we've had last year, and probably playing the biggest games that we've ever played in and not be able to play in those games. And that's tough to look at, especially for me, guys that've been here for a long time, and so I'm hungry, I'm excited, and very motivated to continue to help this team win games, be there for the guys, stay healthy, God willing, and keep it going. It's been fun, just coming back and seeing just the little nuances in the direction of what we're trying to do, change up, keep defenses honest. I think we have some really cool and dangerous things that he's implementing. It's very much, we're going to see we're going to see the defense make a good call and make it right, and that's what you want to be able to do is get into the right call and have your guys fly around. So we got a lot of great players, great receivers, great tight ends, and quarterback is second to none. So it looks really good right now.
I'm so excited for some 12 personnel, seeing Derrick Henry, Isaiah Likely, and Mark Andrews on the field at the same time. And you can throw Kohler in there as well if you want to have some 13 or if you want to replace one of those guys. This tight end room is so talented and loaded. There's also reports Charlie Kohler put on some weight and looks good, it's moving well. He's looking to be that inline blocker and make some splash plays as well. The Ravens have a loaded tight end room. I think in the second year of this offense, Todd Monken knows what he's working with these tight ends. He saw the breakout from Isaiah Likely when Mark Andrews went down. Now you're going to get these guys on the field a lot more often together. It's going to be a problem for defenses to deal with. At number 2, Nate Wiggins. So all the reports that are coming out is that he is as advertised, not allowing a lot of separation for any wide receiver that he lines up against. And that's good news, because the Ravens have an absolutely loaded secondary now, with Nate Wiggins being thrown into this mix that already had 2, solid outside starting corners in Brandon Stevens and Marlon Humphrey. The safeties with Marcus Williams and Kyle Hamilton, man, this is a loaded secondary. And you guys can see that Nate Wiggins, even when he was away from the facility in OTAs, he's putting in the work, and man, he looks so fluid and fast. I'm excited to see what he can do in his rookie year. At number 3, let's talk about the outside linebackers. We're going to talk about the Matt Judon trade speculation. But first of all, Odade Oweh, all the reports are from several different sources say that Odade Oweh is a menace, just breaking up everything in OTAs, whether it's against the run or against the pass, beating any offensive tackle he lines up against, causing issues. Ryan Mink says Oweh was an absolute menace at Ravens OTAs practice, both as a pass rusher and a run defender. He's making that fifth-year option decision look mighty good. If you guys can remember last year, Oweh had a stretch of games where I think he had 3 or 4 sacks over 5 games. It was very disruptive. He had a top 10 pass rush win rate, high PFF grade, was very effective in beating the offensive tackle and creating pressure. He had a high pressure rate, but he went down with injury, And then when he came back, he just wasn't on the field as much on third downs because of how well Kyle Van Noy and Jadeveon Clowney were playing at the time. But now that Clowney's gone, Oweh is the top edge rusher. He's the top dog here. Kyle Van Noy's going to have a big role. Oweh is the guy, though. And I absolutely think he can hit double-digit sacks. I know we've been looking for that for the last season or two, looking for him to make that big jump. He just wasn't healthy last year. Didn't get on the field on third down as much. I think as he continues to develop with Chuck Smith, and as he gets closer to contract time and he's getting better. Remember how raw he was coming out of Penn State? Like, he's getting better and better every year, and I'm looking for that double-digit sack season for Oweh. And another guy that's apparently been turning some heads is Tavius Robinson, the second-year player. He looks good. He came in looking like he added some muscle and looks lean, like he's ready to go. This was already a really strong player, but there was a report that he beat Ronnie Stanley on a pass rush rep. Tavius Robinson, I think he played on 29% of snaps, if I can remember correctly. He played in 29% of snaps last year. They got him in on especially early downs because he's a bigger body. He's a bigger outside linebacker to try to stuff the run. He did get his first NFL sack last year, though, and played pretty well as a rookie. He's looking to take that next step, man. He sees the opportunity ahead of him with Jadeveon Clowney being gone. He figures he can become a solid part of that rotation and maybe even work himself into a starting role with this outside linebacker position, man. The opportunity is right in front of him, and it seems like he's seizing that opportunity because all the reports is that he's looking really good and making plays. At number 4, with Matthew Judon being a New England Patriots and with an expiring contract, and we know the history there, the Ravens drafting Matthew Judon and not being able to pay him in free agency, and him going to the Patriots and having like a 12, 13, 14 sack season. He was a perfect example of a player that the Ravens identified with talent. He got better each year, into that contract year, and then goes off and is a double-digit sack producer, man. And we've seen it time and time again with players like that, especially on defense. But I've now seen over the last few weeks and months so much speculation about the possibility of the Ravens giving up some late-round draft capital to bring Matthew Judon home, and I would absolutely love that. Sports Illustrated and Bleacher Report has put out content on this. Bleacher Report says a reunion with the Baltimore Ravens, who drafted him in the 5th round in 2016, would make sense for all parties involved. The Ravens need some production, some proven production on the perimeter. David Ojabo and Oweh are potential breakout players, but they could still use another threat on the outside to replace Clowney. They say the Ravens are firmly in win-now mode, and with the gauntlet of quarterbacks in the AFC, like we know with Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, they needed to take advantage of every advantage they possibly can. Reacquiring Judon, who's now one of the best pass rushers in the league, would give them a huge edge over the competition. And they say that in contrast to the Ravens, the Patriots are exactly in the middle of a rebuild and rebuilding mode. While Judon hasn't officially requested a trade, the Patriots may be open to moving him to accrue more future assets. Now, people might say, man, this isn't realistic. This is dumb. I know I'm going to get some guys that say this would never happen, and maybe you're right. But I do remember, a few months before the Baltimore Ravens traded for Roquan Smith, I put out a video on it and, the possibility of it and how, Eric DeCosta is not afraid to pull the trigger on some of these trades. And if it makes sense, he will pull the trigger. Now, it takes two to party, it takes two to tango. I also remember talking about the Ravens trading for Derrick Henry during the season last year before it then came out that the Ravens had a trade in place for Derrick Henry, but ultimately the Titans ownership vetoed it right before it went through. So let me know if you would like that trade. How much capital would you be willing to give up? Would you give up a 5th or 4th? Or what kind of draft capital would you be willing to give up for a Matthew Judon? Especially because, the Ravens are going to have a good amount of draft compensation next year because of the compensatory picks. At number 5, Trenton Simpson is taking advantage of every opportunity to go and seize the starting inside linebacker position, the will linebacker position, if you will, right next to Roquan Smith, who's going to be wearing the green dot playing the mic. This is a huge opportunity in front of Trenton Simpson because we know Patrick Queen left to go be with the dreaded division rival Pittsburgh Steelers. And the Ravens signed some veteran guys, to possibly fill that. They brought back Chris Board, who's also a special teamer. Malik Harrison they brought back. And we know the Ravens also have Josh Ross and Trenton Simpson, the second-year player out of Clemson from last year, the third-round pick. Trenton Simpson, when I saw him in person last year, the guy is a physical freak. I mean, he's like 6'3". He's tall. He's got a huge wingspan. He's built. Dude is jacked, ripped, lean. He's fast. But some of the questions coming out of college was, just the mental aspect, being kind of raw, processing, filling holes and doing some traditional linebacker things, that type of stuff. I know he's hungry, and he has a pretty good mentor next to him in Roquan Smith, and he got pretty much a full year to sit and watch and groom behind two just crazy talented linebackers in Queen and Roquan Smith. So the guy had some great grooming last year, and when he got a chance last year against the Steelers to go in and fill in, he absolutely balled out of his mind. He had a sack. I think he had a pass breakup, a fumble recovery. He just made plays all over the football field. And the reports are he's continuing to do that, rolling it into this offseason workouts at OTAs. He had 2 pass breakups, one against Isaiah Likely. Isaiah Likely said how good he looks as well. And Roquan Smith talked about his confidence in him. The defensive coordinator, Zach Orr, who was the linebackers coach, talked about Simpson. This guy, I believe he's going to take the starting role, and I'm so excited to see if the Ravens can fully unlock some of the physical tools and traits that he has to be a starter in this defense. I believe the Ravens will be a good defense next year, regardless of my next statement, but I believe they're going to be a great defense if some of these second-year guys, like Trenton Simpson, like Tavius Robinson, if they take the next step, right, if they really developed and, have a strong role in this defense and they take that next jump, man, this could be a really good defense again, like a great defense, top 5. I believe the Ravens defense, they almost always finish top 10 every single year, regardless of who's out there, because of the Ravens mentality, playing as a team, effort, physicality, tenacity, all that stuff, the mindset stuff. But if some of this second-year, third-year talent can really rise up like we saw from a Brandon Stevens last year, this defense could be really special. As always, if you enjoyed today's content, don't forget to hit the like button. It really helps out the channel, and I would truly appreciate it, man. Thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget to have your subscribe and notification bell on so we can keep you up to date on all of your Ravens news. So close to the season here, just a few months away, and I'm so excited for it. We got training camp. We got some post-June first cuts that are about to come up in a few days, and all that. You're not going to want to miss it, man. I love you guys and I appreciate you guys, and we'll see you in the next video.
Ray, when he wasn't looking, he ran me over.